it'll be nice.
It's a new hot shower, talking shit, I'm potty melting while we draped in white gold color cauliflower. I be up like my allowance, throw hundreds, now it's thousands, counting thousands while we drive 100.
Thanks for hopping on. Today on Total Distancing, we have a special guest. His name is Edicius. Zach and I both actually know him way back from high school in Lansing, Michigan. He's a rapper and producer based out of Lansing, and he's been doing a lot of stuff recently. I know that you've been performing in Lansing, dropping a lot of music, and we've talked about you've been working on a lot of like sync licensing and getting your music out into ads and getting it placed into things, and like even from I remember when I was on your page and you'd like I saw that like you'd opened for Rakim, which is like huge. So I know we hadn't since high school talked as much, and then our friend had like gotten us in contact again, and then you seem to be doing a lot of cool stuff with music. So I'm excited to have you and hear some of the stuff that you're working on, hear a little bit more about your musical journey, because I think back when we were friends in high school, I knew you did music, but I don't think we'd really ever connected or talked much about music. So kind of curious to hear about like your journey over the last couple of years and like through college and just since whenever, just on like what you've been working on, your inspirations, and yeah, just shoot the shit on this. I know it's been a hard Monday, you said, so I think we should all.
It's not super difficult. It's just been one of those days.
Just one of those days.
It's been one of those days.
But before we toast, I wanted to ask: is there anything else you'd like to, tell us about yourself, to introduce yourself? I know Prabhu has done a great job of speaking to a lot of the things that you do, but is there anything else that we may have missed?
I'm a lyrical wordsmith.
Damn.
A lyrical wordsmith.
Lyrical wordsmith.
Oh yeah.
Well, on that note, I think we should find out more about your journey to becoming a lyrical wordsmith. And Kanam usually starts us off with the toast. I don't know the toast by heart. Kanam, you're
all right.
I think the only one that really knows it, but
well, I'm the one who made it.
You're the one who made it, so.
So a toast to the lords and ladies of music. Please guide us on our musical journey and be kind to us as we drink. So I'm going to toast Charles Bradley. I don't know if a lot of people know about him. You may know him if you listen to or watch Big Mouth. It's the I'm Going Through Changes intro to Big Mouth is by, I believe, Charles Bradley.
Yeah.
And he has a lot of great other kind of soulful music. And he's actually like... basically, I think from what I've listened to, I think a lot of his stuff has come out in like modern times, but it does have like an old school feel. So obviously Changes, the Black Sabbath cover that he does is awesome. But I think there's another song, I Feel a Change, which is really phenomenal by him as well.
All right. I'll go next. I would like to toast to Joel Hoekstra.
Who's
Is
that?
he
Anybody? I don't think that is probably no. He's played with Whitesnake. He's played. Oh no, he plays for Trans-Siberian Orchestra.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Dope.
What does he do? He's a guitarist?
Yeah.
No, man. He deals in cheeses and he deals in shredding.
Well, I don't know.
Jesus.
I've never heard of a guitarist in an orchestra. That's new to me.
You don't know Trans-Siberian Orchestra? Do you not like Christmas music
That,
crossed with...
I don't know what that is. No.
What? You haven't heard?
Did you play any instruments?
I don't.
You...
No, man. I'm just here to drink and talk. I don't.
No, I meant, did you play any instruments back in like high school or middle
I
school?
played clarinet and saxophone.
Just pure.
But you don't know who the Trans-Siberian Orchestra is.
How do I know?
I guess I didn't pay attention enough.
What?
I don't.
Thinking of this where we make him listen to it.
Yeah, come on. He's in Texas. That's pure Christian country.
Yeah, I mean, I don't.
Should you not know everything metal and Christmas?
Metal and Christmas.
You never pulled up to the light next to like an evangelical just blasting Trans-Siberian Orchestra? Come on.
I'm missing out. I feel like I haven't lived. I need to go back and just relive my childhood and.
Well, what's the guitarist's name again, Zach?
Joel Hoekstra.
Joel Hoekstra. Okay.
I'll have to meet him personally since I've never heard of Trans-Siberian Orchestra. I have to like make up for all this lost time.
Disappointed in you.
I know. Damn. Well.
All right, don't go all at once. Two more toasts.
Okay,
we have to pay a tribute.
Not the only one. He's one of the guitarists.
Of course. It's like Iron Maiden of Christmas guitar.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm gonna toast to Post Malone. I've been listening to a ton of Post Malone stuff, and his yodeling that he does in his singing is so like he does that sound effect. I always thought it was a sound effect, and my friend was telling me it's actually like his vocal coach was talking about how it's actually yodeling, and how he does that and mixing it with the auto tune. That's how he gets that like cool effect, and like he's very I don't know, just his songwriting is super good. Like I'm addicted to his stuff. So I know not as underground as maybe the other two.
No, I just didn't expect Post Malone.
Really?
Yeah, just he's not bad. He's a good artist. Don't get me wrong. The man has a million hits, but yeah, I guess I thought it was gonna be more underground, maybe.
Don't worry.
I'm here with the
Prabhu's like the pop queen in this group, and
It was like, I'm being edgy, not big.
I'm being edgy and choosing Post Malone. I'm super edgy.
Before you go, Odysseus, for context, we did a battle of the bands,
Unrelated.
and like basically it was basically like Prabhu was trying to be like cool and like pick cool shit, and then like I was just picking like Led Zeppelin, Guns N' Roses, Metallica. Beat that, you can't. And then we just argued for an hour, and that's an episode that we're just never gonna release because like we were all just like mad at each other afterwards. At least Prabhu and I.
Oh yeah, Zach doesn't get angry. Zach doesn't.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that make you famous. You should drop that out. Put that out.
That's true. Everyone likes some controversy, so just the two of you getting salty. So maybe
Eternal feuds.
That sounds good. That sounds good. Anyways, after you, sir.
I remember listening to a lot of Kendrick just because his nephew, I don't know if you guys know who Baby Keem is, but apparently Kendrick Lamar's his uncle. Well, he dropped a song with him, and it was really good. And then I went and listened to his album, and most of the album's really good. There's one song, I don't know if you guys have heard this, but Kendrick Lamar comes in and just says top of the morning about 10 times.
Oh, I've heard that.
Yeah. That song, or those songs. They're fucking hilarious. The reason I like it because he does it differently than anybody else.
All right. Is that it? To Kendrick Lamar?
To Kendrick Lamar. I can toast to that.
And J. Cole.
And J. Cole.
We can toast to that. Cheers. All right, let's talk about the music, though. Come on.
Yeah, let's talk about the music.
Turn us around, Prabhu.
Yeah, turn us around. All right. So you were talking about you've been doing freestyles to like stuff like saxophone and like just normal. Is that like with beats over saxophone or just like instrumental? Like.
So what I'm doing is I'll take a melody that I'll get from a melody pack. Someone will send it to me, like some producer or something.
Yeah.
And then if it's more like a soulful type one, like vocals or piano or something, I'll listen to it and then I'll just start freestyling some keys that are in the same scale.
Mm-hmm.
What do you call it? Same key. Freestyling some keys in key. And then I will throw that on top of it to give it more of like, it sounds dumb, but it'll make it sound like it could be in like a movie. Like it gives it more of like a melodic feel to it than just having like the same 4 or 8 bars repeating in the melody. And
cinematic,
brings it to life. I don't know how to explain it.
No,
it makes it feel like you go from being a beat maker to a producer, if that makes sense. There's a difference.
Because it's not just like you're looping this one static thing. It's like changing and ebbing and flowing and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Do you have anything that you want to like show or do you want to do a verse or something like that, or show us something you've been working on that we can like break down? Like,
you want me to give away the sauce?
Yeah,
do it.
If you want to give away the sauce, we're not gonna force you.
Yeah,
but we will eventually just come and take the sauce.
It's all about sauce.
You can either give it now, or Zach is the closest to you, so we'll have him get nasty the first.
Zach is the worst hitman. He's the he,
He'd at least be nice. I think
that's
he'd
the
be the best
problem.
hitman. Nah,
Can I please kill you?
Zach, yeah,
Can I-
Zach, like, can I have
Yeah.
it? No, okay, sorry.
Oh, you're talking about like taking. I thought you meant like killing me and taking the sauce. You're just gonna take it.
Oh, I'm,
I don't know. We'll
I
leave
guess
that up
that's
to
nicer.
Zach.
I guess that makes it a little bit nicer.
But yeah, well, however much sauce you want to show.
I can do that. Have you heard "Industry Baby" by Lil Nas X and Jack Harlow? Yeah, this is a freestyle of their song.
I told you shit gonna be different this time around. You ready? Yup. After the shit that I've been through, you think I'm worried that some offend you. My life feel blurry, I'm in a hurry to best you. That's why I'm acting so special. I can't do anything lesser. On the road stirring the pot, but this is not a new Tesla. Put me with Nas, put me with Pac. Not in the grave, I mean up with the gods. All this rap shit, rap king, raps around rappers get to shelving. Albums, mixtapes, and EPs, make them disappear one finger like a ET. Then come back for the 3P, and we roll at least like to a 3D. Ride my own wave like a naval sea fleet. I don't play your games, they're way too easy. I'm just bringing flames to your face with a little bit of mace just to make you understand my pain. Believe me, it's not that I want to, but I gotta just to make sure that I haunt you. For times you look down on me, dip like some fondue. So on to the next chapter of my life, I'm earning my stripes. Balls on their way up just like a connected device. But I didn't raise it, I lowered it. I needed people to roll over, dropping heat like I just flipped the whole stove over. I might just pull up and get your whole show stolen, taking the speakers and throw them in 4-overs. I'm acting different, I might drop some coals on him, calling him coal on him. He said he don't know me yet, but when I blow, it'll be for stardom. So try me, I'll get your body and get a full pardon. Burn these beats that you hit me with arson. I'm sharp as a shit, favorite convicts, dropping these hits and all I'm hearing is flawless. More to combat with these punches, the best are regardless of being a target. I came with the drip while you dry it in Moses. For an object to wit, now they've been calling me a Martian. All of your opinions disregarded, dual more units in a portion. You get dried up with no water, taking you out of your element. Now you stuck down on the sediment, looking like a starfish. No masquerades when the mask coming off, kid. This one time to put a hole in your back, just like a dolphin. Thinking back to how I got started. Shout out to Yari, I wish you went back to back on another track. Every time we link up on a song, we dropping coffins. Wishing that shit happened often, but lately it's harder to go see my cousin. I'm done with this COVID and glad that it's over. This gonna be my year. Time to shine just like the sun in the morning, bitch. Let's go.
So yeah,
Wow, that was dope.
Damn.
And you said that's a freestyle?
yeah.
So like you just, does that mean like you click record and you just go for it, or like you
Dumb.
have it?
And this sometimes
I
that
know,
one was
like-
not. Yeah, no, not that one.
I was
There's
like,
some.
how the fuck did you?
Oh, trust me, I can show you one that was completely off the top of the head, and you can barely tell the difference between what I just did and the song that I could show you.
So how is that? Like, so I always find this interesting because I'd like doing a lot of producing for hip hop and that kind of stuff, but like I don't, when it comes to like rapping and stuff, like in writing, like I remember there's a period where I was like trying to write stuff down. I was like, man, this is hard to like, or just trying to think of like what freestyling is like. It's like, how do you like going about like thinking quick on your feet like that with references and that kind of stuff? Are you like, when I think about like playing guitar, there's a lot of times, and I don't, maybe this is a good question for like Zach or Kanam to chime in, but like I'm not a very good soloist. Like I do a lot of riffs and that kind of stuff, but I feel like soloing and freestyling are very similar in that sense of like you play something and then you probably are like, well, I'm gonna go here from here, and then I'm gonna go here, and then I'm gonna, like, it's all like quick decision making on the spot. Is that how that works with freestyling, or is it more of a like you're consciously thinking while you're doing it, or do you just kind of let it happen?
Both. So the first thing it takes is practice. You have to do it a lot. Most people that start out, it's like simple shit like cat, hat, bat. Sounds like fucking Dr. Seuss. Then after you practice for a while, then you find like patterns you go into, and you'll have words that constantly come up, and you'll know like phrases that you say too often, and you'll try and switch it up so you have less filler. And then eventually you evolve into, you already know what you're going to say next, or you'll think of a dope line, either one you've written sometime in the past, just like when you're thinking of random shit, or one that just hit you all of a sudden. And then you'll throw it in there. And then I think the hardest thing for people usually, it's not even thinking of words, it's keeping a good flow. Because that's one of the things that even like sometimes like I will struggle with that especially if I'm going fast. I can only do that for like 4 lines in a row, and then I have to switch it when I'm freestyling, because I know that once I hit like 6-ish, I'm gonna start to fuck up unless I'm in the zone and really like
You've
going
like
off.
overloaded too much in your like cue.
Yeah, kind of. It's more like when you run out of breath, and that's like breath control is hard enough as it is if you're rapping fast, but if you're trying to rap fast and freestyle at the same time, you're gonna put yourself in a bad place.
I had a quick question. So like, do you start off slow then when like you're practicing it? Like try to go with like a slower tempo beat?
Old
I'm
school.
not trying to be rude. I'm trying to like write down my questions because I think this is really interesting and I don't want to interrupt someone. So that's why I'm texting my phone.
Oh no, you're good. I didn't even notice that. No, I mean honestly, old school beats, slow flow. That's like where I started out freestyling. I would do a lot of like like Tupac beats or like Biggie Small stuff.
And then you talked about like breath control and things and recognizing patterns because to Prabhu's point about playing like guitar and improvising, like the tricky part is getting stuck in certain patterns and trying to be conscious about like getting unstuck. So out of curiosity, like what was like a line or two lines that you've like had to really break yourself out of like going into those places?
Man, that song actually, when I was recording that took me a shit ton of takes to do. I'm not gonna lie, because there were times near like the middle of it where I had been going on one breath from the start to that point, and I was like, I'll either run out of breath, and you can tell I'm like really pushing my diaphragm to say those last words, and it doesn't sound good, or my voice will get higher pitched because I don't have enough air to keep the bass in my voice when I'm saying it. So I would have to I probably did like 35 takes on that one.
Wow.
Yeah. Usually I can do it in like 3 to 5, but that one.
And that when you say
No.
a take, that's for the whole song at once.
Oh yeah.
That's not
Yeah.
like oh wow.
Yeah, there's some times where I've gotten between like the 50 and 100 mark on
Jeez.
songs like that. Yeah. So putting in the time and practice definitely makes a difference. Like people don't realize that recording in itself is an art form.
Mhm.
Of course. Well, also like with your style, do you like focus on speed or flow, or kind of the rhythm and rhyme of it? And the only reason I ask, and maybe this is a stupid question, but like obviously like Wu-Tang, the American Saga, like Hulu has released like a couple seasons of that, and like what's always interesting, and especially re-listening to like 36 Chambers and Liquid Swords, is like seeing how like someone like Method Man approaches it versus someone like Jizza approaches it, and maybe those aren't the best two people to like go after, but like one thing is I always respect Method Man's rhymes because it always has such a flavor and style to it, but it's not necessarily always like fast. So how do you like balance maybe like a rhythm versus speed in your rhymes?
So honestly, I don't know if you could hear the end of that song, but I shouted out my cousin Yari, which Zach and Prabhu probably both know.
Mhm.
He's actually was telling me like, why are you rapping so fast all the time? Like it's good, but you never do that. My thing, I would ride the beat and go with whatever the tempo was, but lately I've just been doing double time. And what I used to do was kind of like what you're talking about with the slow flow. I don't know if you guys know who like Benny the Butcher, Conway, Griselda, they're old school, but they still rap now. They're in their 40s. They're like the kings of grimy rap, just like the most like all the song, like the verses that just hit you and you're like, they're not rhyming super complex stuff sometimes. Sometimes it's really straightforward, but the shit they say is just so it gives you that chill down your spine. You're like, damn, like one of his lines.
Is it like memorable?
Yeah, one of his lines is like, I'm so ahead of my time, I can tell you what your grandkids look like when they're 5. And I was like, holy shit. Damn, that's a bar. Like stuff like that. Where I was just
I
like,
think that matters just as much or more because like people shit on Kanye for being like, oh, he's a better producer than a rapper, but I love his as a rapper because his lines are funny and they stick with me. Like his like little references that are witty, like stick. And to me, that I feel like is
sorry.
equally important with certain like with rap and honestly any genre of like and we talked about this in the past of like pop songwriting of like with the chorus and stuff like that of like to write a memorable pop song that like sticks and to write a lyric that like I was just listening to this album, this Serge Tankian from System of a Down's album Elect the Dead from like after 10 years maybe of listening. I haven't, or maybe like 6 years or something. I haven't, but I could sing along to all the songs because all the lyrics were memorable to me, and that I feel like is just as hard, if not harder. And I'm not a great lyricist. Do you have any that you like wrote that you knew that's gonna be something that you're like, oh, this is gonna hit hard, or is it just something that you get a reaction from later, or like how do you go about like practicing that? This is an open question to Kanum or Zach, if it's a riff or lyric or anything. Like, do you ever know that this is gonna be catchy or something like that?
So when I was saying that J. Cole and Kendrick are my favorite, there's a reason. J. Cole always talks about real shit, and he does it with the flow, the style that you can understand his words, even if he's rapping fast, and the delivery is right, even if there's no punchline. Kendrick, the only thing that he does, he turns these lines into like an algebra equation. He's like substitutes words that could be straightforward for another thing. Like he had some freestyle he did on the radio where he's talking about like having to see his like uncle smoke crack, but he like switched it. You're gonna laugh, but he switched it out for like vivid images of my uncle sucking on glass dicks or something. And I was like, geez, like who thinks of that? It's just like shit like that where they flip it into something completely different. Where I'm like, I like when I first heard him, I was like, I need to start doing that. I don't want to just be like putting everything straightforward. I want to make people think a little more. And then I started doing that. Obviously, in that song I showed you, that's not really a good showcase of it. I can't really think of too many lines where I use stuff like that. I mean, no, when you're talking about lines that I knew would have like an impact, right before I started going super fast, there's a line where I was like dropping heat like I just flipped the whole stove over. It's not like super crazy, but it's enough to be like, oh shit, all right, let's hear where this is going kind of thing. Am I wrong? I don't know, maybe.
It's like a you, and it has imagery to it. You're like,
Yeah,
people
exactly.
it's rather than just saying I'm dropping heat or something. It's like, okay, you're showing off. You're making it like I can picture that. Like,
Yeah, no, exactly. And I was like, that's okay. So here I can put a little snippet in for diving into the writing process. What I'll do is sometimes I'll find the last two words, like the end of the bar that I want, and then I'll fill in the gap. And I've literally sat there and I've made lists.
like you write the lyrics.
Rhymezone.com.
No, like, so oh man, I must have been in like 10th grade when we realized that Drake was rhyming the last two words of every line. And then I was like, I'm just gonna do that from now on. And like the more I thought of that,
you mean like the last two, like every line.
like game over, flamethrower, shit like that.
Oh, okay.
So like when we realized that and like listen to other rappers, like, oh shit, he's not the only one doing that. Like, do you remember Recovery, Eminem's album from like 2011? There were two lines. He literally rhymed. Yeah. You know exactly what I'm talking about, don't you? That might be the song.
Is it the Michael Vick one where he's like, I'm going nuts, bitch. I'm Michael Vick. No, not that one.
That's the song, but that's not.
Cold Wind Blows. He does a lot of like intricate work, and
Yeah.
if you played the song, I feel like I would be able to sing along with like 90% of it, because that was just like,
I want to see that.
I mean,
blow up. Just
Straight Outta Compton is probably a lot of that. I don't know as much anymore, but that was etched in my head for a long time. But Cold Wind Blows was another one.
Okay, I remember the lines now. It was, call me fire marshal, I'm here to shut this shit down. Your entire arsenal could not fuck with one round, or something like that. And I was like, what the where did that come from? Like, this man literally just rhymed two entire sentences. What the fuck? But yeah, so after hearing that, I was like, all right, I need to do more of that. So what I was doing lately, I was like, I'm already good enough at freestyling where I can just fill in the gap. If I have the last two rhyming words, it takes a huge burden of the stress off. So I sat there and literally just wrote about 15 to 20 rhyming words, threw on a beat, and just freestyle the whole fucking song to it like that. It was so easy.
So you're just like you're like working backwards in a way. It's like you've got the thing,
Kind of.
you know where you want to land, right?
Yeah.
And then you're just like, I'll get there, and then okay, just focus on where I want to land. That's interesting. Is that how you ever? I know that you don't maybe freestyle lyrics, but like, when you write lyrics, have you ever done that, Kanum? With like, you were talking about rhymezone.com, but like,
Yeah, the 2-word thing is like really clever. Like, cause I just go with the last word. Like, that's all I have to rhyme. That's all I have to rhyme. Cause that's how I write typically. It's like it still has to be. It has to have consistent rhymes to it, or else it's not as satisfying to me. But I'm gonna definitely steal the 2-word thing now.
Oh yeah, use it. The
Take
thing
that
is,
sauce.
I think the reason why it works better with hip hop is because of not the consistent flow of words, but when you're singing, sometimes you'll draw words out or keep words a little bit shorter.
That's true.
Almost have like a stutter step to it, and that
Yeah.
makes it like it's more like melodic, I guess.
Yeah.
So you can
Yeah.
do it, but it might not sound as good. You just have to play it by ear.
Zach, do you end phrasing? Try to end phrasing in like a lead part or when you're playing, because that's something I've thought about and like I've slowly tried to incorporate more. But do you try to like either start phrasing or end phrasing in a similar fashion?
In some ways, yeah. So, I mean, obviously, you can't necessarily rhyme with guitar because it's there's
can't?
no word.
Use your talk box.
That's true.
Man, you're not playing guitar right. You gotta
You're right.
unlock that skill yet.
Yeah, no, it's like the level beyond expert on Guitar Hero. I feel like as of recent, I'm trying to become more conscious of like not necessarily where I'm landing, but where I'm starting on like a different chord change. I feel like that's kind of one of the main things that makes someone sound more like professional.
Yeah.
Like it just sounds like more like calculated or planned out, even if it's not planned out. Like if you're improvising and you just kind of know like what chord's coming up. Okay, I'm gonna switch and land on that note, so I'm not playing, some clashing note or something like that. There is like it's like a blues type of thing. What's it called? It's like call and
response.
yeah, where you have like a phrase and you play it and then you end it one way and then you come back and play that same first phrase again and then you end it a different way. So it's like a build-up kind of thing for guitar.
Stairway to Heaven solo.
Is it?
I forgot.
See that?
But he goes back to that.
Oh,
twice.
it like does the same
Yeah.
changes.
Right.
And then he goes back to that.
Yeah. Okay.
Smooth. I like it.
it.
I like it.
Thank you.
We gotta get you to like record a couple sound bites that we can use in all our videos, like smooth.
I don't know I have the radio voice for it, but I can try.
We can just cut it out and use it. So it's fun.
Just
Great.
use it.
Since I have the I'm gonna use this opportunity to ask some questions. One of the interesting parallels that I'm noticing is that like guitar players, at least I know I think Kanam and Prabhu also probably are like more obsessed with building speed. Like I'm obsessed with building speed because I'm like, crap, I want to be fast like that guy who's, absolutely.
The thing is, depending on the genre, it's like you and I have like the flipped hand speed. So I can do this hand, but not this hand as well, and then you've got this hand. Yeah, it's funny how.
Yeah. Right. But it's
That's where
like,
hammer-ons come in handy.
Yes, that's true. The left hand. I found it interesting that like we're so obsessed with speed and stuff, and you're like not necessarily just working on speed. You're like focusing on like the lyrical content and like the flow. So I guess with that in mind, like how do you like what's something that you're working on right now? Like if you like what are you going to do tomorrow when you're like, okay, I'm gonna practice, however you go about practicing, like what are you gonna do tomorrow?
Probably enunciating words sometimes, because like I know what the words are, so when I listen to it while I'm mixing and mastering it, I'm like, yeah, it sounds good, and then I'll play it for someone and then I'll be like, they probably didn't get that part or this part, and then I'll run it back for them again, and they're like, okay, now I got that now.
Yeah.
And that's why I used to always do the slow flow, because I'll put a lot of lyrical content into it. I don't want it to just either go over people's heads or they don't understand a few words here and there, and it throws everything off.
Is that
I think it's so like funny how we're all like our worst critics. Like I sent both of them like a guitar lick today, and I have heard that guitar lick like 200 times today. So I was like, I want to play this stupid lick right. So even after I sent it, I was like, damn, that sucks. And I do that like anytime I post a video, like anytime I send something, I hate it. I'm like, this is awful. But like I feel like
Yeah, I
whenever
feel
anyone
you.
else like hears it for the first time, like they don't have that same critical ear.
That goes for live playing too. I mean, I remember in college like playing a show and just like right after being so pissed because like my guitar cut out. I was like frustrated and I was like, people didn't care. Like my friends who came up after, they're like, why are you like being so
You just did
self-conscious?
an awesome thing.
Yeah, and I was just like, this is the worst show ever. I'm like shutting my guitar case, just all like, annoyed and like, and it's like, why are you pissed off? Like,
To be fair, that's good. That means that you want to improve at any point that you can, which means that you got the drive and ambition and actually care about what you're doing.
yeah,
That's
I
true.
feel like every artist is a perfectionist. Every true artist is a perfectionist, because then they really want to push themselves to do better no matter what. Even if they have a perfect concert, I guarantee you, how many times do you think Michael Jackson had a perfect concert? The man was the king of pop. I guarantee you, he still had like 50 things. He's like, oh, I could have done that better.
his moonwalk, he's like, I just never
Yeah.
got that right. That'd
God
be
damn it.
so-
I'm not
Yeah.
I wasn't Neil Armstrong out there tonight.
That man probably was like, you know what? I need to take a quick flight to the moon to see how it really feels to moonwalk, and then I'm gonna come back and do it like that.
Great mom scenes like, no, it's just not. This is 500
Well,
beats per minute. It's not enough.
I feel like it depends on the artist though, because I mean, and obviously there's great artists. I think there's the idea of there's the balance between quantity and quality, right? Because I think you have artists that, and this went to Prabhu asking about like how do you write and how do you write surgically and with precision, right? And you had said that you try to really work for that precision, right? And you notice those things where Drake's rhyming 2 words at the end. I'm going to try to copy that. And you notice these other things. I always go over the school of like, let me just throw it at the wall. Like, I'm not looking for someone to get attached to the one song I work on. I'd rather look for me having 10 million songs, not necessarily 10 million, but me having like 100 songs, and then someone finding something out of that, and the gems being somewhere within that.
Right.
But it's a hard balance, because still, even if I write 100 songs, I still want those 100 songs to be good. So it's a delicate balance, is all.
Because you could probably go, if you listen back, you'd probably still identify something that you're like, oh, I could have EQ'd that.
I've done everything great. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well,
Listen
that's
to my-
dope. I mean, that's
Listen to my first EP. It's the highest of quality.
yeah.
The
Well,
highest
but like to your point
ever.
of that part, right, where you felt like your first EP wasn't, you
I've never expressed any negative feelings on my first EP. It is a gem.
He's throwing
No.
shade right now.
throwing shade at him.
No.
still for,
No,
yeah.
but to Prabhu's point, I like, once I have enough other like content out there, enough other songs out there, it is one of those things. It's like, well, do I remove this now? Because if someone goes back in my catalog, as many of us do, go back to the first person's record or something, and that's completely shit. Like, I don't want to start like having like a bad image, but I still feel like I need it there now to show that I have some other content. But also there's other magic that I'm trying to do.
That makes sense. Which, it's ironic, because remember when I was telling you about I've freestyled songs that sound like they were written earlier,
Yeah.
and I could pull up one. Yeah, that's from my very first mixtape album / EP kind of thing. So
Want the very vulnerable stuff where you're like, oh, I
Yeah.
could have done this better. I've grown so much since then. Or
but the thing is, I had already been recording and writing for like 8 years by then. So it's
Yeah.
really just came down to the mixing mastering process, which
Hmm.
I had some experience with, but not to the extent of like everything that I can do with Logic versus GarageBand or Audacity or whatever else is like trash compared to it.
Yeah, and that's interesting because it's like I really like hearing about with rapping, that kind of stuff. I was curious, and I'm glad Zach asked about like practicing, because to me, I I've been working on singing and I've been trying to get better at singing, and then like with practicing with that I can kind of understand, what that maybe means with like, well, my first thing is to be able to, hit the notes that I want to hit. And with rapping, it's like a little different because it's not necessarily notes that maybe you're trying to hit all the time, unless you're doing like sort of singing, like Kid Cudi style sing rapping thing. But like, I've always wondered with that, is it like more practicing that's like you're actually practicing by just press record and you just rap, or is it like you do even things like just writing more and like writing poetry or writing like or reading things to like, because I like vocab and stuff like that, like I feel like you probably have to know, like a lot of the rappers that I like, you mentioned Liquid Swords and 36 Chamber.
Yeah.
Wu-Tang is, you know, a great example of that, where just like some of the references of like Jizza and stuff like that. It's like I feel like it's equally on rap skill, but also just like he says so much stuff about random kung fu movies that like are very pointed references that like you have to like the most witty rappers are also, I feel like, good observers of culture, because they like will make a like, that's why I like Kanye, is he makes all these references to song uh like his songs where he's like, I didn't go to I ain't one of the Cosbys, I didn't go to Hillman, or like that was in Good Morning, I think, or no,
Yeah.
I Can't Tell Me Nothing. And just like those lyrics, those things where it's like I feel like you have to consume a lot of media too in some ways to be a good rapper, because like, or not necessarily a good rapper, but like a lot of the rap that's interesting to me is just
Yeah.
like Lil Wayne says some stuff and I'm like, it's so funny, and like the references are so random that I'm like, how did you think of that? Or it's like to a movie like
Pop culture.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, if you gotta study pop culture if you want to be not mainstream, but that's what a lot of those references usually go to, just because people listen to music they relate to more. Not style wise, but content wise, if that makes sense.
I know that you identify as a rapper, but also a producer, and I know you've talked about like producing a lot of your beats. And one of the things we a little while ago, we had like done a Zoom call and just like started, swapping beats and showing some stuff that we're working on and stuff like that. And you've been doing producing and stuff. What was your journey with that? Like, did you start more with rapping and then, because like for me, producing was a function of being a guitar player first, where it's like I play guitar, but I want to be able to record stuff for a band, and like I don't, I want to be able to record myself. So it started as a musician who wanted to fill in the gaps of all the things I would have to go to someone else for to do studio stuff. Is that the same kind of approach for you with rapping? Was that like you're a rapper and then you're like, well, shit, I want to be able to just make my own beats in house, or was that like a different process?
So I started producing. I took a music production class when I was going to LCC,
Hmm.
and then I was like, this is pretty cool. Maybe I'll play around with this later. But I mostly did it for learning how to mix and master better. But I also wanted to know how to produce, just because I thought it was cool at the time and
Hmm.
wanted to do it. Then a few years down the road, I was like, producers can make steady income and make decent amount of money just from selling beats, which now that I've done it for a while, it's a lot harder to do than it seems, but I still get sales every once in a while, so it's not impossible. It's
Hmm.
just because I'm spread thin between like making music, mixing, mastering everything, and making songs, like beats, everything. So, and then the whole marketing and advertise everything that goes along with that while trying to do that with music. So I'm pretty spread thin. But I will say that the main purpose of it was to make sales. But then I was also like, I don't go on trap beats usually. I usually rap on like hip hop or it's not boom bap, but it's more like new age boom bap.
Hmm.
So it's like,
Like old soul sample kind of stuff, but with like,
yeah, like Just Blaze, if you know who that is, he's a really famous producer. Like the stuff that he would make, yeah, stuff like
The
that.
Alchemist.
Yeah, Alchemist, another one.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I've gone on a couple of his beats, stuff like that, where I'll really, that's my thing. But then I played around with the trap beats I made, and I was like, this is actually kind of fun. Like that's where all this fast flow came from. And I was like, I'm just gonna go crazy on these, because a lot of people that go on these just kind of let the beat do all the work, and they'll just say like 6 words per line, and then it doesn't matter what the fuck they're saying because the beat knocks and everybody's just vibing to it. So it doesn't. Yeah, like Migos they sometimes will throw in stuff in there where I'm like, oh shit, all right. But yeah, like that.
Yeah.
For the most part, yeah, it's just.
How do you
riding.
feel about that? How do you feel about like riding the beat versus actually like riding on the beat? Let's put it that way.
If I freestyle, I ride the beat. That's all I'm gonna say. Like if I'm writing something that's supposed to be like in depth, I'm not just gonna sit there and ride the beat. I will make the beat follow me almost, if that makes sense. Like I will overwhelm the fuck out of it. We're suffocating beats out here in 2021. Like I do not let that shit breathe. You heard it on the last song. Like there were no pauses.
Yeah.
I was just going off constantly. Sometimes I will, if I'm really trying to like portray a message, but most of the time.
Is it just like hard to let the beat ride, or is it just you're trying to create something that is of yourself? Like you naturally wouldn't let that happen, so like you're just trying to show as much of yourself or be as true to yourself as possible.
Yeah, but also because I have a lot of content that I want to put into the song.
Okay.
I don't like finishing a song or doing a song and feeling like, oh, I could have said this or I could have put this in there. Like I don't like that feeling. It's not necessarily like it's incomplete, but it almost feels that way, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Speaking of content, like when you're writing things, right? Like how do you come about like different things that you write? Like for me, there's been times where I just remember in my apartment when I lived in Detroit, like I just looked out the window, the thermometer said 28 degrees on this big sign that was like kind of up the street from me, and I just used 28 degrees in one of my songs because I said that, and I was just kind of riffing with something and singing. And then other times, like for my most recent song, I really sat down and I was like, you know what, I want to write a song about Fred Hampton, and Judas and the Black Messiah has a lot of good lines in there. Let me steal some of those. Let me use some of a book that I read and put that together and put something out. So how do you kind of go about creating that content?
I think it comes down to 3 things: mood, what I've been doing lately, like Prabhu said, like what I've been reading, what I've been watching, the content you're consuming, and then how much energy I have. Because if I don't have a lot of energy, I'm doing a slow song. I'm going to write just a 16 bar, wait until I have more energy, and I'm going to knock out the rest of the song. Sometimes when I'm drained, I can kill a whole song off, like just knock it out. But for the most part, it's usually not going to end up as good as if I took my time and like.
That's smart about the energy, because that's something as a guitar player I don't think of as much, because like guitar wise, I'll write, I mostly write like heavier stuff, and a lot of that is tiring because this is a lot of fast playing. But I like writing not heavy stuff and slow stuff, but I don't think about the like energy. I think about the mood maybe that I'm in, but I don't think about the like I'm tired right now, or I'm in a laid back chill mood, so I'm gonna write that, as much as like, well, I want to write this kind of thing, so now I need to think of what's the mood for that, versus just like I'm feeling down and depressed, so I'm gonna write a slow old school Pink Floyd style like psychedelic sad sounding song, versus being like, no, but I have to work on this metal song and like muster up the energy that's not necessarily there for this like crazy
force it.
yeah, which
and
is,
trust me,
there's merit to that. Like I've been trying to force it on purpose, but also that's interesting that you kind of lean into that and let that dictate the like how you're gonna approach a song.
Oh, I don't. I just started doing that.
Oh,
and it worked a lot better. Trust me.
Doing it. I mean,
how many trap songs you hear on the radio that are just laid back and chill? There's like 2. That's the thing. Like whenever I would make beats like that, the only thing I would do differently, I would make them a little bit darker so it feels a little bit more laid back. And then I would do less work on the 808s or something like that. And I'm just like, I'm just going to crank this out because I need to do this. And half the time those end up not being as good because I'll listen to them compared to the other ones I've done that were times where I was like more rested or more inspired, and I'll be like, shit, I could probably delete that and not think twice about it.
Do you let that be a rep though? Like, I'm actually kind of curious, Zach. Like when you're approaching like doing gigs and preparing for playing like live and stuff, do you? I know you have so much content. Do you just let there be just duds sometimes when you're like going out there to play, or are you just trying to
That Freebird solo.
level 10 every time?
You made a Larry Bird song?
No, Freebird. He was
Oh,
he was talking about when he had to solo Freebird at a gig and he didn't know
And
that
he knew it lick per lick.
he had to like
Oh, I
learn
believe
the
it.
song while playing it.
Somebody requested it as the very first song, and they tipped us $50, and I didn't know a single note of like I know the song, but like I didn't know how to play it, and so the singer of the band I was with was like, "All right, they tipped us $50. We're playing Freebird." I was like, "I don't know Freebird," and he's like, "We're playing Freebird." We opened with Freebird, and I just like literally butchered it for 9 straight minutes. And I think the guy in the audience was very amused and pleased with that. So
yeah, that's probably why he did it, because it's what isn't it? It's like a 7.5-minute song,
Yeah.
or is it
Long.
9?
And
Yeah, I was just,
and the lead up is the guitar.
yeah.
solo.
Oh, I know. I remember that.
Yeah.
Guitar Hero, baby. I remember that
Yeah.
shit. It's all
If it
like
was
2
Guitar
minutes
Hero-
of nothing but guitar,
yeah.
and that's the condensed version. That's the condensed version.
No, it was bad. I don't know. I would say no. I don't really let things go. Like if I have a song that sucks, I'm gonna be pissed about it.
I can
Perfectionist.
yeah.
I feel
Yeah.
you. I feel you.
He was
Well-
Excel and he breaks it down into manageable steps and then he like
I thought, Zach, you said like sometimes you just like you're like, I'm just gonna feel this one out today. Because like you have talked about, you know, so many that maybe not necessarily feel that it's out, but you're gonna trust your gut, that your gut
Okay.
knows like what's gonna happen in this song.
Okay, let me take a
kind
step.
of different though, right? That's
So-
worse than knowing that like I know I'm shit at the solo, but I'm not gonna do anything to fix it.
Yeah, so it's something in my control where it's like, okay, I've had this set list for 3 weeks or longer than that. Like I know I should know this song. And then I'm like, but I'm really tired, like my hands don't want to work. I'm still gonna like be like, okay, I still have to do it. And then if I like suck at it, I'm gonna be pissed about it. Like, you stupid fingers, you fucking suck. Like,
Why am I human?
why didn't I drink more water? You know, like that's probably how I'll feel tomorrow because I didn't drink enough water today. But like, but yeah, if it's like a request like that just like pops up and it's like, oh, well, I used to know that. Like the expectation's lower, so it's like, you know, I can let that go a little bit.
Well, I guess that goes back to like recording the song. So you kind of let it be a dud, and you'll walk away if you don't know it well. But if you feel like you know it well, you're gonna just be like, time to smash things.
Recording is different. Recording is very different. I like nitpick everything to a flaw when I record things. So like, I feel like now I've been trying to kind of let it go a little bit. Like, but yeah, recording is a lot harder for me to listen back. So like, sometimes I just don't listen back. I found like most recently, I haven't been posting a lot of things or recording a lot of things, but like,
Oh, you mean like recording an Instagram video, or you mean like recording like us in a studio kind of thing?
I like Instagram.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Alright.
I mean, I know that feeling. You're just trying to get it right because you know it's going out there.
Yeah, so like even today, like when I record that video and send it to you, I was like, I'm not gonna listen to this. I'm just gonna send it because otherwise I'll sit here like 25 minutes until I'm pleased with the perfect take that I'm not even releasing publicly. I just sent it to the two of you.
Wait,
We're
I'm
gonna
not
say some
perfect.
bullshit
Like,
anyways.
this is a different thing. Zach, we're gonna have to talk about sometimes my theory, and I think I've talked about to Prabhu, of hitting the record button and hitting that on and off versus just sitting there recording for 10 minutes and just cutting it up later. but that's a different story. Like not obviously not like stitching like this is a good part here and this is a good part here.
Oh,
But like
man.
I switched to just I'm gonna record for 10 minutes to try to get a good take. And I'll take the best one I get out of that 10 minutes. And that way it allows you to do A and B choices. And then you can be like, this was the shittier version. And this is the better.
I feel like even if I did that though, I listened to all of them, and if I found one that was like, this is the best one, but like I still messed that part up, I'll like set the timer for another 10 minutes. Like do it. Like it, you know what I'm saying? Like
man. I'm just
I
a
have
bunch
a
of
habit of like
perfectionists here.
I won't even like keep the thing when I'm recording a song. I'll mess the first note up, and I know I can punch in, but I'll be like, no, just the whole take, it was bad. And I'm like, but the rest of it was fine. But I've started doing that where I'm just like, no.
You're just displeased with yourself. You're like, I
I went
can't.
from being like, I'm gonna punch everything in. I just only punch in. I wouldn't even record a take.
I ruined your method.
Yeah, you did. Where I would do only a punch. I would just highlight the area and only record that one part, and then just do it for like a while where it would get that. And I still do that sometimes, but I think I need to go back to doing that more. Kanan ruined me, and he's like, "You need to play the whole take," and then I'll do that, and I'll get like halfway through. But instead of saying stop and be like, "Just fix that one part," I'll just like,
It's
no,
not the same.
whole take, whole take.
I
understand.
I stole your method probably. I started punching.
I slow it all down.
I don't
That's
slow
what I
it
used
down.
to do. I always
don't
slow it
cheat.
down. I record like slow. I'll punch the note in. I will time everything.
But no fast videos on Instagram, please.
No, but no, on Instagram that's not allowed because then I'm saying I played it fast and I didn't. Yeah, exactly. I'm not gonna fake that one. It just goes back to what you were talking about, Zach. It's like you are your worst critic too, where it's like there's a point where it's like you listen to it and you're like, does this detract from the real thing I'm trying to convey? And that's something I'm actually trying to remember, is that like some of the coolest songs, like those hidden, gems that you think are intentional and stuff, are like those duds that made it through the uh like some songs will start with like the guitar unplugged playing this thing, or they'll do they'll add something in that's like a vocal take that messed up, and then the real song will come in, and like that sometimes those duds, there's like there's something there that you could use for maybe something else.
There's a charm to it.
Yeah, there's a charm, or you could repurpose that dud into something. Like I think that's how Jack White wrote Seven Nation Army. It was like he was trying to write like a James Bond song, and then he wrote this thing, and then I think he's like, this is a fact check in Google. This is a Wikipedia thing I read in like high school, and I was like, oh, I need.
No, it's all true. Prabhu knows all the facts about
do.
Jack White. 100%.
Yeah, I did. Not now.
Like that.
I did until like
Jack White's his cousin.
2011. No, Jack Brown. There's Jack Black and Jack White, but I should be Jack.
Isn't that Jack Gray?
There's no Jack,
Jack
Gray.
Gray.
Isn't that Jack Gray?
There's no Jack
Mixed
Gray.
black and white. It's gray, right?
Let me Jack Brown. I'm gonna change my handle right now to Jack Brown.
Well, just let me know. We'll go update all the names everywhere.
At the end of this episode, I'll edit that onto there. Jack Brown.
Yeah.
So with recording and producing, so you said you kind of work back from wanting to sell and do that. At this point, do you feel like with your music career, are you more focused on the producing and the beat mixing mastering side of things, or more as like the independent artist, like rap side, and like trying to make it as a I guess an artist, or recording artist? Or...
Honestly, I do both, just because the more beats I make, the more chances I have of making a hit. And the same goes for the songs. Like, the thing is, I write songs enough to the point that if I step away for a week or two, I can come back and write a song that's just as good as if I had been writing every single day.
Mm-hmm.
And when you step away for that time, all the things you observe, the content you get, it starts to build up. So that song that you write could have more content in it than if you were knocking out a song every 3 days.
I think we talked about that on something where we talked about like sometimes to just there's a point where you have to just be like, no. Like like that amount of what you're doing at like 3 in the morning where you're just dead zombie mode recording and you're on low energy tank versus like you could put that away and or if you're in a rut, just put it away and just
Or
be
get a
like,
Red Bull.
yeah, or yeah, or get a Red
I was
Bull.
gonna say I kind of did that on Saturday night, and I
But
ended
that's
up
because you
making a
probably
good
had an
song.
idea. Did you have an idea that you knew what you wanted out of it?
Some of those ideas just keep
Nah.
you up.
I
Oh,
was
damn.
playing, I freestyled the keys to it earlier that day on top of a soulful beat, and I was like, you know what? This is like someone described those type of beats as like hard knock beats, like
Hmm.
talk about life or like I don't know, like Jay-Z type stuff. If you guys know what I'm
Yeah.
talking about.
Yeah,
Stuff like that. And I ran with it, ended up making a good song, finished the whole thing. I was like, it was like 3 in the morning, 3:30, and I was like, I'm really done with this. And I was like, no, I'm gonna write the second verse. I'm just gonna do it. Ended up cranking it out and hit a double time fast flow the last 8 bars. And I was like, well, I haven't wrote a song in like a week, so I guess that's good enough. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
yeah.
But I made 5 beats that day too. So it was literally just it was one of those
You
things I
did
was
when the
Yeah.
inspiration hit you, kind of.
Strike
I
while
just went-
while the iron's hot, right?
Yep,
Yeah,
exactly.
that's took my quote, Kano.
You know, just trying to get that flow. You know, just trying to get fast like our
I
friend
feel
here.
that.
I had a question. You said you're trying you'd like to make a hit. What defines a hit for you?
Catchy melody. Chorus is typically catchy, if not witty enough to the point that people are like, "Oh, I really like this." The song that comes to mind is "Palm Trees" by Flatbush Zombies. Uh, I heard the song probably about 10 times, maybe even more, before I really understood what they were talking about. He said like, "Zip in my hand, unzip the can, dip in my hand, then I palm trees," and I was like, "Oh shit." It's like grabbing a handful of weed out of the jar. I was like, oh damn. All right. I see where you're going with this.
Yeah.
But they're like a West Coast there's like a West Coast Cali feel to the song. So I was like, I get where they're going with it. Melody's catchy, the beat's catchy, so they instantly like the song. It has to be more than that to me.
So is it your perception or is it like other people's perception of the song? Or
Both,
how's
but
the mix work?
it's both, but you kind of develop that ear just from listening to music a lot, and you can tell what people think is catchy. Literally, I'll listen to the radio. I don't like most of the songs on the radio. Sometimes I'll sing along with them, don't get me wrong, but that's how I know this catchy, because I don't usually like that shit. But I'm like, if it's stuck in my head, it's stuck in my head. I need to do whatever it takes to get my song stuck in their head like this.
Again, I feel like what's fun is you know, talking to Zach and Prabhu for so long is we each have our flavor, where like I think there's an argument for catchiness as well as there's an argument for just saying, you know, this is what came out of me and I'm not going to try to like change this for other people. And I think, you know, on the sides of the fence, and Prabhu, speak to me if I'm wrong, Prabhu's definitely like more of like I think you do think in a good way actively about catchiness. And now you don't think you've always thought about
Hey,
that? I feel like
I feel you on that. I did not start doing that until this last year. I didn't give a fuck about catchiness. I was like, if the verse or if the lyrics on it are good and it flows, I don't care if it's catchy. It sounds good to me.
I've always appreciated it and I've always liked it. When it came to writing music, my writing and what I liked in music, I feel like, well, okay, no, maybe it was, but I guess with the instrumental stuff and the stuff I did with like Two Face in college and stuff was like more instrumental stuff. So I didn't think of it as like catchy from like the pop lyrical kind of thing. It was more like I like riffs, and the reason why I like riffs more than solos is that like to me a riff is like the structure of a song and the meat of a song, that like that thing you remember, that like if you can if you don't play guitar and you can sing a riff like when like Iron Maiden, that like Fear the Dark, that like when you see
Yeah.
I guess it's a solo but it's like a riff, but I remember in like high school seeing them playing like Rio in Brazil, and they're like na 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 na, and it's like 100,000 people singing this like
Yeah.
thing, and I'm just like, that's cool. But I guess I always thought about, I didn't feel like I was really good at that or thinking about that ever until I took a class where I was like, maybe I should think about this more with the catchiness. But I appreciate it, but I don't feel like I've ever been good at that.
Zach, how do you feel, or what's it like when how do you deal with that when you're playing live, where maybe there's a catchy song that you know everyone's gonna dig, but maybe there's a song that is more something that you enjoy playing, but people dig less. How do you kind of deal with everything is just a banger that you play? Is that why you're shaking your head?
We do catchy over.
No, but even within the catchiness, right? There might be something that you like more that may be less catchy, but you like playing more. How do you kind of deal with that? You don't even care. Everything is just
I don't really
people
have
are just
the
slamming
luxury.
shots.
Yeah, like I don't. I mean, I don't. I'm kind of just the hired gun.
Yeah.
Like not to to completely like simplify or just like
It's real though.
my
But you don't
roles.
feel like a different way if like, you know.
Well, okay. Are you asking how I feel or
Yeah.
Wait, I
what?
think Zach adds Zach is the like sprinkles on top that like take it from like because I feel like because you when you say the hired gun, it's like I feel like, yeah, if you're a solo player, you like,
Hitman.
yeah, yeah.
Him is assassin.
Yeah, you should be assassin. You're in and out. Like you're not plotting
Yeah.
the whole thing. You don't care how they kill the guy. You're just like
You come
out.
in, you kill it, and you leave.
But no, but I'm asking specifically. He doesn't plan it. He doesn't really care how he kills a guy. But like at the end of the day, when you go home and you're sitting down, drinking, hydrating, drinking a lot of water because you've had a thirsty day, do you just like reflect, like, you know what? I really dig that song that everyone loved, but like I know everyone really enjoyed this song, but I just don't like playing this one as much, or I like playing this one a lot. I wish people liked this song more because I really like it.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, that's honestly how I feel about Sweet Child of Mine. Because like
A true Guns N' Roses fan.
like people that are our age are just like, oh, this song again. Like,
Catchy solo.
So
I
wait,
feel
the slash reception.
yeah, like I also and it makes sense the more you read it, but like, well, not you, but like me, because I am obsessed with Guns N' Roses. The more like I've read about Guns N' Roses, like you realize that they're really polarizing to a very specific like age range. Like people, because they were like the number one band on in rock, at least on the face of the planet or whatever, for like a period of time. Like it's probably just like Ed Sheeran. Like there's like the people are like, oh my god, I love Ed Sheeran, and then there's like Ed Sheeran sucks. Like I don't want to turn on my radio because I'm afraid that Ed Sheeran's gonna come on. Like
Yeah.
and that's how people feel about Guns N' Roses too. So it's just like
It's specifically Sweet Child of Mine.
like, Guns N' Roses, my favorite band, but it's like I'll play it and sometimes I'm like, yeah. Sometimes people are like,
Oh,
this song, the buzz
Go home, boomer.
or they're like, nah, I'm not gonna dance to this song. Like so yeah. That happens a lot.
There we go.
Definitely the guitar songs that are fun are usually buzzkills, with the exception of like Hotel California, because like everyone can appreciate Hotel California. I think. Does anyone here not like Hotel California?
I mean, I like it, but like it's like I think it's like one of those songs. If I heard it, you play it live, I'd be like, hell yeah. But if I just hear the Eagles play it again, I'll be like, I'll skip this time. Like,
Yeah.
I'm definitely gonna hear it again at some point this year and be cool with it. But like, I'm not driven to Hotel California anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and then like on the flip side of it, there's like songs that everyone loves, but like, oh my god, I hate playing Drops of Jupiter. I hate Brown Eyed Girl. Sweet Caroline.
How can you hate that classic? Come on.
Which one?
Brown Eyed Girl?
The pain in the ass to play.
That's
Apparently,
Like,
that's the hardest
what
one to play of Zach's set.
Yeah, I was gonna say, okay, we did talk about it. Like for some reason, like it's definitely not the hardest song to play, but for some reason for me, I have this mental block and I just can't play it perfect every time. And that one always pisses me off. Every single time. Sweet Home Alabama, I hated for like a long time. Now it's like, okay, I'm easing back into it. I'm enjoying it again. But like there's definitely a period of time where I'm gonna hate playing that song again.
Do you like play it with a smile still, but like your soul's dead on the you
No.
you go you don't even try to enjoy it on stage? Like I feel like if I'm playing a gig, especially with Sweet Home Alabama, just such a happy song,
Yeah.
I'd at least put a smile on and a yeehaw.
Well, I'm like so sick of that one because it's for one of my bands, the sound check song.
Oh, okay.
Like we always warm up with it. And like it's not like hard, but like when you're not warmed up, it's definitely tricky. Like we don't play the whole song even, like just like the do 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 do. For some reason, like if my hand isn't warmed up, like I'll like miss strings. I'll be like dun 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 dun, like, and I'm like, why aren't you working? Like this is an easy song.
Could be some different state.
But
Not hydrated.
I think
Nah,
your body doesn't want you to play the song.
pretty much, yeah. Like that's how.
Sweet
like,
Home Michigan, Sweet Home Lansing, Michigan.
You need to get
Yeah.
a glass of sweet tea before you play it. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Get you in the zone.
Did I tell you guys the story about Lose Yourself?
No.
I mean, okay.
Yes,
You know,
you did. No, you did. You talked
I
about
did?
how you played Lose Yourself and you didn't really know. Yeah, I definitely remember you talking about it. I don't know if it was in an episode. You talked about it. I definitely remember. No, you
Alright.
talked about it when I was in Lansing, I think, this last time.
Abel, did I tell you this story?
I don't think so.
So we were playing at Tin Roof like 3 weeks ago. And one of my favorite ways to troll the singers in all of my bands is to start playing the intro to Lose Yourself. It's like do do ga do 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 ga, because like nobody wants to perform that.
You
But
had-
like
Wait, were you with Sadie or with your other band?
I haven't done it with Sadie. That would be funny.
I was gonna say, seeing her try and do that would probably be hilarious. I don't know if she knows the song. I assume she probably does, but
I don't. I feel like if she had a few shots, she'd probably go for it. But the other bands I play with, like they're just like stop. But like the crowd is like, yeah, they're playing Eminem. Like they get all hyped up. So I did this to troll the singer at Tin Roof, Elisa, and this drunk guy comes out of nowhere. He's like, "I'll rap battle you right now." And she was
please
like,
tell me you didn't stop.
well, so I kept going, and she's like, "No, like I'm not gonna rap battle you." And then this other drunk guy comes out of nowhere, and he's like, "I'll rap battle you." So like we're like quietly playing it while like these two guys are in front of the stage having a rap battle, and like the whole bar is like stopping to watch this rap battle. It was really bad. It was terrible.
Damn.
I would have
And-
been fucking loving it.
And being in
Well, but-
Michigan too, I feel like so many people are like, "This is our song." Like this is
Yeah. And then so they almost got in a fight though. Like they was getting heated. And so Lisa was like, "Zach, like you did this. You need to stop it now."
You have to
So-
hit the solo and push him out of the way.
Yeah.
you're wrong.
I was like, how can I completely kill the mood? So I started playing Wagon Wheel. Like
I
that
don't even
like
know what-
cheesy hokey honk country song. Do, 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 do. You guys don't know Wagon Wheel? Oh, it's fine. Don't listen to it. It's not worth it.
Better than Trans-Siberian Orchestra, or is it?
You would like Trans-Siberian Orchestra better, but
Okay.
it's just like this cheesy, like honky country song, and then like that completely diffused everything.
Were they just thrown off, or were they like, I can't rap to this anymore? I'm just gonna go.
It was a little bit of both. They were like, "Wait, what the hell?"
You fucked up my flow.
Time to go back to the state or to the crowd, kind of thing.
Yeah, no, it was good. It was fun.
How Trans-Siberian Orchestra's from Tampa, Florida? Sorry, that's
That sounds about right for some reason.
that's underwhelming.
That feels right.
That's underwhelming, man. I was thinking this like
New York.
group of like people that came here and just like really made Christmas songs like
You
big.
thought they were
Hype.
from Siberia?
Oh, they're from fucking Tampa. Like, like it's not the same.
I always like Zach's perspective because like it's interesting being the hired gun and I think about even when like I'm in a band and like we choose a cover or this or that cover, you know, especially while I'm playing with a band, my originals are something that we're going to be playing most likely, but the covers are kind of more of like a democratic process where like we're all agreeing, or you know, I pick the last cover, you pick the next cover, and we kind of go round robin. And then there's always that time where I'm always like typically a pretty like I'm chill playing anything because you guys are playing my music, so I'm happy as can be. But there's always like sometimes just like that cover that's just like I don't really know how we're gonna like wrap our heads or really get through this one. I can't think of any that I particularly didn't like love, but like there's always the one where it's like it just got dropped off at some point, and we're not going to talk about that. This time we're not playing this one anymore.
Have you ever done covers? Because this is something that I've been thinking about recently that I really want to do, is take a cover or do a cover of a song, but it's like a complete reworking of the song. Because like, you know, Rage Against the Machine's last album, it's like a complete cover album.
Oh yeah.
And all the songs are so different than the original. Like they're pretty much different songs. Like they're not. They've took all their stuff and made
Maggie's Farm is one of my favorites.
Yeah, right. They took a Bob Dylan song and made it a heavy rage. They have a Rakim song. They have a Cypress
Bruce
Hill
Springsteen.
song. They've got like
Really?
yeah, they've got, and they do it their own Rage Against the Machine style with like, you know, just bouncy heavy guitars and to me
Interesting to
that's
hear.
and that to me is like something I find like that I've wanted to do with the covers too, is like maybe take a song that's not as traditionally, like on both extremes. If it's not a super poppy song, make it like a poppy song, like Snowblind by Black Sabbath. I really like that song, and I heard a Sundown cover, and I was like, yo, this is really cool how they did that, and I want to do like a maybe poppy version, or take a pop song and make it like some crazy metal song.
Guitar players and just I guess just people in like rock bands or most genres of music, we play cover sets. That doesn't seem to happen. Like rappers don't do that. Like, why is it that you wouldn't necessarily play, or I guess do you cover other rappers' songs? Like, would you get on stage and do like a Kendrick Lamar song? And if not, like, why? Is there a reason that like that doesn't happen?
That's a good question.
I've always thought about that.
Is it harder to like emulate? Because like with singing, like I feel like flow isn't as much of a thing. It's like the pitch and like maybe some enunciations aren't even as big. But I feel like it maybe
enunciation gets big with singing.
Yeah, if you had me come up there and try and do a Rihanna or Beyonce song, I'm gonna crash and burn every time. But if you asked me to come up there and do, God, it'd have to be like I'd have to be getting paid for one, because I do not want to just go up on stage and rap somebody else's song. It wouldn't feel genuine enough. But there are two songs that he has. Look out for Detox and Rigor Mortis. I don't know if you guys know.
Good, yeah.
Oh, Rigor Mortis, definitely.
That probably took him like 80 takes.
Zach's
that
phone
shit is
died, by the way.
insane.
Yeah.
Damn. Well, he'll see it in the episode at least if he doesn't get
Where is Zach? Yeah, what happened? Anyway,
his phone died.
We'll crop him in.
But no, yeah,
There's a picture.
we'll crop.
I've done that.
But yeah, Rigor Mortis is an insane. So you'd cover Rigor Mortis?
If I mean, that would
If you're
take
getting
practice. Yes, I was gonna say if I was getting paid, I would cover Rigor Mortis and Look Out for Detox, which is almost as insanely hard to rap as that song because of the breath control you need. Like it's super fast and the style is just different.
Would you like? No, go on, P.
I was gonna say it sounds like very, like, so the example of Rigor Mortis is like, at that point it's like rap, but it's like, I feel like what you're doing there by covering it is like testing. It's like a test for yourself from a lyrical, like a technical standpoint versus like a lot of other songs to rap. Maybe it's that rap has like a more personalized or like personal thing when like attachment to the art that you put out, that you're like to do someone else's, like, I don't know, like there's things that are like personal shout outs or disses and raps that like if you were to do it, maybe that's like it would be tacky or odd or something. I don't know. Is that like something that's ever crossed your mind, or is that off from what that might be?
Kind of, but also, who am I gonna diss that's actually gonna be like, that's gonna take it serious, for one.
Yeah.
For two, covering a lot of people's songs, it's not that it wouldn't be difficult, because there are some rappers that rap really fast that it'd be hard to cover their songs. But 95% of the people that you'd hear on the radio, including Migos, I could probably go out there and cover their song without really having to try that hard. Just because their styles are already stuff that I emulate in the music I make, with flow wise, not lyrics, but the fact that I can do the flow, putting lyrics that are even more simple and less thought provoking than what I normally put in, makes it a lot easier to just go jump in and do it myself. So it's like, it almost doesn't feel like enough of a challenge if I was going to use somebody else's lyrics, if that makes sense. Or
Yeah,
somebody else's song.
That makes sense. It's like,
would you go out there and play all the chords and Smoke on the Water for the entire show? Or would you be ready to shoot yourself by like minute 15?
See, that's what happens to me when I have to play Brown Eyed Girl. I'm like, I don't want to play this, but people want to hear it for some reason. So
yeah, I mean, it's like, that is interesting because I never thought about, like, even from an audience, but from there, it's like the audience expectation is that, hey, you're a rock band, you're gonna play this song, versus like the audience expectation in hip hop might be different too, with like
Hip hop.
hey,
I'm gonna start calling it that.
hip hop. Did I call it that? I've mispronounced. This is because I'm on.
Is that Dos Equis? Oh, that's what it is.
Well, I already got through the Dos Equis, and now I'm on this.
Crossfaded.
Yeah, the hip mop. Yeah, I'll say it very clearly so whoever cuts it as hip mop, you can make a TikTok video out of that. Kanam's not even here. Or I don't know where Kanam is. He's just.
I think he's outie. I actually gotta go too.
Yeah. I was just gonna say that I feel like with the hip hop audience, they're probably not expecting people to cover, or like I wonder if someone just went up and did a Kanye song, if the audience would be like, "Why are you doing a Kanye? You're not Kanye, or you're not Kendrick, or you're." Versus like if you're a rock band that played a cover, they'd be like, "Oh, you're paying respect to whatever." I feel like there must be some.
I think it's more normalized, also because you're not one person. Oh. I don't know what just happened, but I think it's more normalized because, for one, it's usually a band doing it instead of just one person. And for two, you're playing instruments with it. Like if I went out there and did live drums and rapped somebody's song, people would probably be like, holy shit, this is awesome. Versus if I just went up there and started rapping someone's song, they'd be like, why are you doing this kind of thing?
The root style.
I think that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Or if I got up there and played like live bass, maybe I feel like that's probably the only one I'd be able to pull off while I'm trying to rap.
At that point, you're like some just multifaceted performer that's like, oh, look, he can do both of these at a time. It's not like, look,
Which
he
is
can rap.
definitely not easy.
Oh god, like Thundercat.
People-
I don't know how he sings and plays like that bass guitar. Like it's.
I don't know how people sing while they're doing another instrument at the same time. Like, okay, piano players that have been playing for a long time and they just play chords while they're singing, and they hold it for like 2 to 4 bars and then just switch between like 3 or 4 chords. I understand that. The people that are sitting there and literally playing both hands, their right hand's going crazy, and they're still singing, I'm like, you're not human. Who are you?
Yeah, I can get it with like chords, but like there's a band called Gojira that's like a metal band that like plays like crazy metal riffs, and it's just a 3-piece band. I think it's a 3-piece, and the main singer is the guitarist, and he's like playing all these riffs that I can barely play as a guitarist, and he's like singing with that too, and I'm like, you have 2 like separate brains functioning like
that's
at the same
insane.
time.
Can you pull that off, Zach?
I want to hear
No.
Zach sing.
Definitely not.
I want to hear you sing "Sweet Child of Mine."
Yeah,
I don't.
that can be your intro. That's the perfect intro for the
show. I would pay to see. I'll give you $50 to sing "Sweet Child of Mine."
You're gonna show up to his next show.
or Freebird. I'll pay you $50 to sing Freebird.
I'll do it for $50. That's fine.
I was gonna say, what if you show up to the next wedding he's booked for and just be that person that comes up and tips $50 for them to do that?
Yeah. But we were just thanking Abel or Odysseus. Odysseus,
Either one.
real Odysseus, for being on our show and just talking about like it was actually really interesting to see how like the parallels between us being mainly guitar players and I mean Kanem being a vocalist and lyricist and like how we all approach that and from a producing standpoint. Yeah, it was really fun, and we were just talking about any shout outs. So I'll have your Instagram up on here, a link to your like Spotify, SoundCloud, whatever, wherever you have your music. And if you've got anything coming out, we'll make sure to add it to the video and, you know, make sure people go and check your music out and check your page out. And if anyone's listening in the Michigan area, hopefully once shows are back and there's more like Lansing figures out their venue situation.
Yeah.
Like after shutting some stuff down, hopefully we can point some people to check you out at a show.
Yeah, I would definitely appreciate it. I don't know. Hey Zach, we're gonna do a joint show at the intersection.
Just all lose yourself.
Well, you guys
Yeah.
are doing a song together too, right?
A fusion show, that'd be dope.
Yeah, you have someone who could do you could do lose yourself with your band and get
Oh my God, you're right. Yeah, we
able
can
to
actually
just
do
come
it.
up and actually just slaughter it.
Man, no,
Yeah.
you should do a whole setup where you have like a Odysseus and then like another like decent rapper or a little bit less. We want to blow Odysseus up. So a guy that's just a little bit worse than you, and then like you just set it all up. So like you set it up as like, oh, I want to rap battle, and then you know you just place them.
Some theatrics. Yeah, that's smart.
Yeah. Learn how to backflip too. I think that would be helpful.
I
I
cannot.
think that would be helpful in any situation. Yeah, for the most part.
I'm,
I
Yeah,
guess-
let's do it. Let's do it.
I'm just picturing the scene in 8 Mile where Eminem goes, but not the end scene where Eminem kills it. The beginning part where Eminem
And
gets
he's just
ass
like
kicked.
fucking up.
And that's Zach. He like shaves his head and everything, bleaches his hair, and then Odysseus just blows him out of the water.
I don't know. I think staging a rap battle between me and Zach would be like prime
That'd
content.
be pretty awesome.
I was
It would
like,
go viral, but
What if you
at my
rapped and played
expense.
guitar?
That would-
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
that'd be dope. Yeah,
That honestly
you gotta
might
get
be
that
harder
E-string
than
fixed. You just gotta get that.
What
That
it should
might-
be?
that might be
Sorry.
harder than singing and playing guitar, honestly, because with singing you can just kind of follow the melody. With rapping, you'd have to be like rapping fast with Eminem's shit and still try to play.
Yeah, you'd have to
Yeah.
like have a good sense of rhythm with the guitar and the like lyrics doing something else.
Thank you so much for being on this. Yes, it was really cool meeting you and hearing your thoughts and talking about your process and giving us a little bit of your sauce and everything.
Yeah.
Don't steal it.
Don't
You can borrow it. You can borrow it.
I'll
Steal-
borrow it.
taste the sauce. Just don't eat the
Well,
sauce.
this is everyone will know this is where the sauce came from. When I start rhyming 2 words at the end, people are gonna be like, "Oh shit, he's basically just a Odysseus."
That's 2010 Drake sauce. That's free. That's free public domain, right there.
Well, see, the thing is, then we went back and listened to older stuff, and I was like, Bone Thugs and Harmony were doing this. Biggie did it in a couple songs, so I can see where he's getting it from.
But I got it from you, so
Yeah.
it's like a
You're the
I-
new age of.
yeah.
I'll take that.
I'll credit you with that. It's like I'm trying to think of
Odysseus stuff.
Maggie's Farm. Easy example. I credit Rage Against the Machine for introducing me to Maggie's Farm. It's an excellent song that was also written and performed by Bob Dylan.
It's like the Kanye song "Blame Game." Who taught you how to do a double rhyme at the end of a verse? Odysseus taught me.
Exactly.
But yeah, thanks for coming on, man. It was good having
Thanks. Yeah.
Yeah, no
Oh,
problem.
We said bring your A game. Do an intro. Do an outro.
you. Yeah.
That works.
Let's play us out with your freestyle.
Obstacles, I hurdle them to curb, I'm always serving them. So open up and bite on it, I'm coming for your throat and shit, just like what laryngitis is. Y'all kings do not want to smoke, cause I'm way above whatever all your highness is, bitch. Had a lot of setbacks on the roadway to success. No, it gave me stress. No, I
Hear that
didn't quit.
trumpet?
Lately, I just hold on before I'ma let it slip.
Just wait.
Y'all treat me
Just
like
wait.
dirt, so I'm taking on my respect. Had a lot of setbacks on the roadway to success. No, it gave me stress. No, I didn't quit. Lately, I just hold on before I'ma let it slip. Y'all treat me like dirt, so I'm taking on my respect. I've had nights longer than your longest days. Spent writing music while people still throwing shade. Vent through the lyrics and writing down on the page. Choking back the tears, my eyes filling.